This is the back nine of the Sunstein Open second round lead card. Huge thank you again to our partners, Sunstein LLP, for not only hosting this event, but for encouraging disc golf throughout the world, and especially what they're doing, hosting and supporting big tournaments like this one. Our partners at Disc Golf 978, ThoughtSpace Athletics, and of course, we're the greatest media team helping bring this coverage to you. And we've already brought 3 rounds worth of coverage, the front 9, back 9 of the first round. We brought you the first round of the second round, and this is the back 9. This is it, folks. This is what we all want to see. So let's see what's going on here. We have Simon Lizotte with a -12 lead over Harry Chace, who's -11. And on this card, we also have a little bit of a battle because we have already found out that Harry's sort of playing only match play with this card only, that he's beating Kyle by 1 here. 2 strokes overall with a -9, Kyle, and Matt Armstrong is hanging in there with Wyatt Mahoney. So let's see what happens here in the back 9. Harry, welcome back. Are you ready for it?
Absolutely. This back 9 is really a treat to watch. A lot of separating holes, a lot of bonus birdies, and this is one of them right here. Hole 10, the signature hole, coming in at 501 feet. No surprise there. A downhill par 3 all the way to this awesome green guarded by this rock, and it is a special drive to get down here in one shot. See if anybody can do it.
Yeah, and if you watched the first round coverage, you saw or you heard Kyle kind of talk about how this hole has completely sort of changed over the years. And I have to tend to agree with him that the ceiling has really been cut off more and more over the years. So I would like to maybe talk about with Bill next year to see how we can make it reopening up the surface area a little bit, just to make it a little more penetrable.
And Rivas, I'm glad you were able to talk about course design during that terrible shot that I had.
Well, I had to kind of mull over it a little bit. So.
See Wyatt going with another slow disc and unable to float it all the way down here. The forehand is an interesting play by Matt. Controls the angles.
Very interesting play here, and I like it as long as it comes back and it gets initially through there, which it looks like it did. It may have hit something hard to get to even get catch cam to see what's going on this one. This is a very hard hole to track. Harry, what's going on with you in this hole? Tell me.
I don't know. It's just something about the way the angles were for off the tee. I don't know. I happened to hit that tree twice. Just one of those things that wasn't able to execute the tee shot.
Same disc, though?
Same disc, yeah. Great issue PD. One of my favorites. Never lets me down, but it did in that moment.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, you always got next year, too. And next year, we might change things up. That was a nice little shot by Wadz. He's still out, though. This is such a hard hole. You saw how much flight he got there. But, yeah, next year, you know, Steve and I were talking about this. You know, there may be talks about an A tier. We don't know yet, but we'd like to make it a 3-day and also introduce maybe a second course. I mean, with Simon's new course looming around the corner, mile marker 22, I think it is, or something like that.
63.
63, sorry. Way off. And the Oakholm course, you know, there's a lot of options nearby, and I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on in terms of making it bigger and better by expanding courses.
Gosh, well, I mean, luckily I'm not the one who has to make a final decision on this stuff, but 501, great course. Never had the pleasure of playing Oakholm, but I've heard great things. And of course, we know that Simon will probably create a gem, as he tends to do with his course design. So I'm not really quite sure, but I do remember the old Sunstein series of old days. There was a tournament here, a tournament at Sunnymead over in eastern Massachusetts. Would be cool to have multiple Sunstein events throughout the season, you know, even if they aren't like the Sunstein Open with the amount of added cash that it had, but just other Sunstein events, because you know, Sunstein supports disc golf, and I think the players in New England love to support Sunstein back. So I'm sure that it would garner a lot of interest. More double points events, more more showcasing Massachusetts best courses.
Yeah, and the Massachusetts best players. I mean, the idea of having the 2-time multipliers at those different events, I think that you're onto something there. So we'll discuss that a little more. You know, true Sunstein events like Silver Series or whatever they call them versus just the Sunstein series. All right, here we go. So hole 11, kind of a sneaky technical hole, only 74 meters, but you have to either commit to the left side or right side. No OB, I don't believe. It's tricky to get down there with a board, I feel like.
That's kind of tricky to get down there on any line. The forehand, at least you can see the gap the whole way. Potentially easier, but
oh gosh, that's
Wadz going with Theos there, and maybe we'll take a look at how it fared.
Yeah, that's a beautiful shot by Wadz here. Just so many ace runs on camera. GMT providing that catch cam. Let's go. Thank you, Connor Spillman. And here you are. What are you throwing there? You got did you get lucky?
Maybe at the beginning, certainly avoided an early tree, but hit something at the end. That is my soft exo tactic.
I didn't know you throw that. I love the exo soft.
Yeah, it's great for kind of this shot going left, but a slight flip up the whole way. That one's, you know, they get beat in pretty quick and have kind of an interesting flight to them that can make these technical holes a little bit easier.
Well, since we're still on Team Discmania, well, let's see if you can bury this putt first. Yeah, it was a little awkward with the rock wall there. You can't commit too much without your knees probably hitting them. Here's why. Well, what I was going to ask you is that would you have thrown the new MD4 on that shot?
The MD4, interesting option. Never really thrown one of the old ones, and got a few test throws with my new one. So let's just take a look at this right here. Clean putt. But yeah, I've just always preferred a big bead, and I'm lucky enough to have a good selection of methods to choose from, and I think I like what I'm going with the methods, so probably just keep that in my bag.
Well, I gotta say, I threw the MD4 and I love it. I have a feeling you might find that disc in your bag sometime soon. So hole 10 averaged 3.39. There was only 2 birdies on it, 40 pars. Hole 11 averaged 3.07. This little shorty averaged 3.07. Are you kidding me? 16 birdies, 36 pars, 19 bogeys. Wow. Quite the separation on that hole.
And do you want separation? Hole 12's got it for you. Also 501, par 4, and it is uphill the whole way, tight tunnel, and of course the signature OB rock wall on the left. Such a rewarding birdie, and truly takes 2 well-executed shots to just have a putt.
Yeah, one of the best holes on the course. I mean, you just have to be so careful off the tee. Control is the key here.
Yeah.
Here's Kyle. Do you know what Kyle's going to be throwing?
That is a Metal Flake T-Bird. He threw this exact shot round 1, almost the exact same. And he's been throwing that disc great.
He knows that play very well at this course by now. Whoa, Harry, you took it the little bit of a risky line there.
The whole way.
Well, you know, that's just the local route. You know.
Yeah, that's the local 500-plus foot arm route because Simon did that twice.
Yeah, super fortunate there as soon as it left my hand. You know, last year, round 2, did the same thing, but never crossed back inbounds. Ended up taking a big number, kind of ruining the tournament for me. But was able to commit to the shot enough and got away with one there.
What disc was that? That was a really good turn at the end there.
Well, you see, Rivas, that is my method. So
Ah,
never let me down.
Harry, I cannot believe you just threw a method that freaking hard and that far. All right, that's amazing. All right, you're still in bounds, right? It's hard to
Yes,
tell.
I am.
Okay, yeah. My gosh, this hole makes it look so much more difficult on camera when you're on the right side here. But yeah, this hole's average, like you said, one of the most difficult ones, 4.2. You had 24 bogeys and 33 pars. Wow, Matt, what a spin putt. There we go. That's the Matt that I'm sure was catching fire first round.
Man, don't look now, but Armstrong's now 10 deep. Tied me at the top. He's still making a run at this title.
All right, here we go for your 3 look. Oh, I thought that was in, Harry. I think you got a little rock.
Yeah, I had to ante around the tree. And, yeah, as soon as it left my hand, I thought it was perfect. Just an inch low and got an unfavorable reaction.
Looks like Wadz got his birdie. Great birdie there. He was one of the 14 people to birdie it. It's just a great hole. It's a great separator. What you want to see. Now, hole 13, I got to sort of respectfully agree with Wadz. It's not my favorite hole. I don't think it's really anybody's favorite hole, but this green one's a little more palatable for people. This green basket, in terms of at least getting a birdie look, whether it's some sort of forehand or at least maybe sneaking on the right-hand side. Here's Wadz going aggressive with his forehand.
Yeah, it's definitely the intended fairway shape's much better for a righty forehand than a righty backhand.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
We have
although that tree is right there.
Got it.
yeah, and just you were asking me about course design earlier, just to put on my cap for a second. Any hole that I'm choosing to just chuck through the woods and cross my fingers over the intended line, not really a fan of. But it's the hole we got to play, and we'll see how Wyatt does it as a lefty.
I'm fairly certain Simon chose the same line as you in terms of going up that right side. So you guys with big arms must be seeing something. Like, does it open up just enough where you think you can get up there?
I mean, it's not even that. I mean, for me, my game is at right now, I would never throw a forehand on this hole.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a backhand, I'd rather just punch through and try to get to circle's edge than trying to shape a super flippy to come back. It's just way less technical. So this is what I've got left with, and
yeah, it was a great bid. I'm fairly certain last year you were in the same spot and you had the same shot almost. Matt Armstrong looking to get his back-to-back birdies, but couldn't get it done. So this hole averaged 3.3. This is one of the more difficult ones of the day, and 0 birdies. So that was your opportunity, Harry, to get that birdie for everybody. It was a great bid, though. 52 pars and 19 bogeys. So a lot of separation on these back 9 holes, like you said in the beginning of the program here. Wyatt Mahoney, one of the most consistent Circle 1 putters I think I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen him miss a Circle 1. And he's 14, folks. He's the youngest, highest rated PDGA player ever. That's amazing. Kudos on your accolades this past month. Hole 14, what are your thoughts here, Harry?
this is a brilliant shot shape, panning way to the right. Interested to see Wyatt throw it as a lefty. Interested to see Wadz with this power sidearm, but it plays all of 381. You really need to get it moving left, or right, excuse me. What a sidearm from Wadsworth.
Yo, did that go long? I don't think I've ever seen anybody go long on this one. Holy cow. And you're going to be throwing your FD?
Come on, swing.
Right?
Yes, that is an older FD, a Night Strike 2, and
Nice
it is
color.
just really tough to get a righty backhand to dip as much as you need it to.
Yeah, and look at Wyatt Mahoney, the lefty. Still about 35, 40 short. I cannot believe Kyle went long on that sidearm. So let's just take a look at Matt's shot here. He's swinging a little left, but he should be able to get down right into that ditch too. Great shots. So Kyle, round one. Wow, you are in a jam, man.
Yeah, it's not great from here. And
Wow.
tried to scuba her out. There was just nothing. There was no option.
Yeah, so that's going to be tough. You might be suffering your first bogey. No.
Well, the thing is, Rivas, you asked me about scores earlier.
Oh! Whoa!
The first time I checked scores was right before that putt.
No.
I knew things were getting a little slow for my round, and I saw Simon was on a heater and a few up on me, so I told myself I got to run it. And
That was a
awesome
huge-
result.
So, side note with that putt, we heard obviously that putt being made, and I saw a little shookness in Simon's face. So you did your job, Harry. Don't you worry. Because we were on the tee on 16. Oh, great putting display here. Wyatt Mahoney also getting in on the action. What a birdie. This is amazing. So I have to say the story that I was going to tell you is that Wadz probably threw that so hard because he was short first round. Oh, great birdie. And because he was short, he had a death putt and he rolled, obviously, forever. So he probably wanted to make sure that he was getting as close to the basket without having any death putt scenarios, and that's what he did. He got the birdie. Amazing play there. Hole 15, very simple but tricky forehand and also backhand type of hole, but it cuts way right, so it's actually a lot more difficult than it looks, and you kind of have to make sure you get around that one fat tree before cutting right.
Yeah, I still don't really know what to make of this hole. It's so short, you would think it's just a must get, but it is weirdly hard to get into circle one.
It is.
I still don't even really know what route to take, if I'm being honest. So I'm throwing an MD5 forehand. Believe I'm trying to split the two trees, and I seem to have done it. I've seemed to have done it perfectly, but I don't really think I'm close to the hole. So we will have to see.
It looked great. What do you mean? So this whole average 2.76. So you're right. I mean, it's sort of kind of like a must get, but not. And we have 20 birdies and 49 pars. So not that much separation between the two scores there.
Yeah, I mean, just to go off about that, most 188-foot holes you could just kind of chip a sidearm and end up parked, but I'm pushing the circle's edge. This is about a 30-footer, so got to stay in the hunt, make a birdie here.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it was a good stroke, but like you okay, first set of emotion from you because you know what the score is, I'm sure now. And I think at this moment Simon has maybe 2 strokes on you. So it's not like it's over. You just have to make sure you get the rest out. And it's still very close.
Yeah, it sure is, but I think Simon was through 16 at this point, so 17, as we'll get to. Very short hole, definitely one that Simon is very good at throwing. And then 18, of course, hard to imagine him taking worse than a birdie, so
Right.
it's all going to be about 16 here, and what a hole it is. Downhill 409 feet and just a tunnel the whole way. Got to be a favorite for many players on this course.
By far. I mean, it's just picture perfect. It's downhill, so you can kind of make sure that you beat that 406 feet, whatever it is. It doesn't play as long as it looks. You just have to get a good rope on it. But it does play one of the more harder holes for the day, averaging 3.18, because if you don't get down there, say goodbye to your par. Kyle getting sort of a redirect to the right, which is kind of rare because every time I see him, he owns this hole. So that's a very rare mistake for him on this hole. And here's Wyatt Mahoney probably throwing it just a little too hard. I'd like to see him maybe learn those fan grip touch shots for something like this because he has all the power. Talk about power and control. Whoa, Harry, that was beautiful. P2?
Yeah, going back to the glow P2 here, and it's not going to let me down twice, so hit this one on the perfect little baby hyzer, and maybe some more tree love at the end.
Oh my, did you know it was that close? Holy crap. Wow, that was closer than any other shot today other than hole one. I mean, so many good ace runs. That was a good shot. Glow P2, folks, get yourself some whenever they come out. You see Wyatt Mahoney having a lot of work to do just to get his par, and so does Wadz, who was 80% down there. I mean, this is some thick woods that you have to deal with here on hole 16. So, true or false, there were more bogeys than birdies.
On 16, I would have to imagine that's true.
24 bogeys.
Wow. And Wadz is not going to be one of them. We kind of forgot to mention, but he's crawled his way up to 10 under, tied with me currently. So this putt, a banger to stay at 10 under. It's real important for his tournament.
Absolutely. I mean, you're looking at $800 for second place, I think. This is a lot of money for second place. And Matt Armstrong's right there, too. This is such a tight race. There you go, buddy. That P2, that might have been the prettiest flight of the Sunstein Open.
For me to mark it, can I just like slide this underneath it?
Matt Armstrong, still sort of new to the tournament scene. He did ask a few questions here and there. But that's good. You like to see that because the last thing you want to do is someone to get penalized because they didn't ask. All right, moving on to hole 17, downhill, 253 feet, par 3. Very beautiful hole, very similar to hole 8 almost, but a little more depth and need a little more control with the straight shot and then fade right at the end just so it doesn't go too far.
On the hole. Please go on the hole.
Yeah, just like that.
Oh.
Get in the basket, Harry. Whew. All right, these shots are looking really pretty.
Yeah, this is such a fun hole to throw. Back to the glow P2, and that's just too straight for the ace, but a great shot nonetheless. And we'll see what the rest of the card can do.
Have you ever aced that Sunstein?
I have not aced at this course, and gosh, a tournament ace would just be even better.
Something tells me in the next year you're gonna get one.
Still have to throw it.
Yep, you have to commit to the throw, Wadz. I know you want to get back into the podium finish. But if you want that birdie, you're gonna have to throw a little harder. And Wyatt Mahoney getting a nice ground action and play, and he is parked. So Matt Armstrong is going to have to deal with a little bit of what I would call a gauntlet just to save his par. And that's the only trouble you're really going to find on this hole if you're short left, or where Simon was in round one, sort of in the patches on the right-hand side.
Great two.
Harry tapping out his birdie. Great job there. 12 down. Pretty amazing stuff. Are you happy with your performance?
Well, you know, it's hard not to be. You know, a field of 72 players. Kind of commanding second place right now, but, you know, you always play for the win, and, you know, it's hard to not walk away with that. But, so at this point, yeah, we've checked scores. Simon is in the clubhouse, 16 under par. What a round two, 13 under on this layout. It's just insane. And so at this point, kind of just trying to put on a show for the guys and walk in second place.
Yeah, I mean, that was an incredible round. Simon shooting his 5th highest best round, career best, at coming in at, I think it was 1085 rated, or 1084 officially, and minus 13 on this layout, which is a course record. I mean, minus 10 is good, but minus 13. Incredible stuff here. So let's see who finishes out on top here between you and Kyle. Looks like you're going to have the advantage once again, shooting a mesmerizing shot on 18. What are you doing here getting that much power? That's insane.
Well, it's in bounds this time, so we can at least get a look at the eagle.
You couldn't believe it yourself that you went OB in that first round. That was incredible.
Come on. Great line. Come on.
Wyatt showing off his skills with the Anheuser. Beautiful shot there, getting a lot of power as well. And let's see Matt Armstrong on the signature hole 18 with the backhand. He hasn't been throwing too many backhands. It looks like he's got enough power to get up there easily for the up and down. But just a beautiful setting to finish a tournament in a round, hole 18. Would you say it's top 3 finishing holes in the state?
Gosh, I mean, Massachusetts has a lot of courses, but such a fun hole to throw. And shout out to the crew at 501 Disc Golf. This hole is just looking so beautiful. They mow so regularly, make it look good. Certainly worth the money you have to pay at this private course. And yeah, super awesome finishing hole.
And here's Wadz with his approach. Yeah, and thank you for mentioning that, because without JJ and Bill at 501, you know, this course wouldn't look the way that it is. It wouldn't play the way it is. I mean, it's just an amazing venue for us. Our 3rd year here. Next year, we'll see what happens. And here it is. Simon Lizotte, minus 16, minus 13 round. Harry Chace, minus 13. Awesome finish there with the birdie. Minus 8 round. Hot fire. Kyle Moriarty right behind you. These are amazing rounds, like 10-30, 10-20. You're continuing your hot streak. You won a lot of cash. How are you feeling about that?
Feeling great, Rivas. I mean, you, as the TD, did a phenomenal job. And once again, shout out to Sunstein. I mean, no other tournament in Massachusetts makes us feel like true professionals. You know, that's the Sunstein experience. And it's awesome to see. We even get a Sunstein Series standings check-in, ladies and gentlemen. Moriarty taking the top spot, and Matt Armstrong with a great performance up there too.
Yeah, the standings are very important because we're going to be updating these after most of the tournaments. We'll update them after Daisyland just to show folks. We'll update them after some of the other ones coming up. And yeah, again, thank you, Sunstein. Thank you to all the viewers. Thank you to our partners. This is an annual event that we love doing. We love filming, and we love to see all the competitive players, all the professional players coming out from all the different states. Couldn't have asked for a better time this year. And thanks again, 501. Any other final words, Harry?
That's all we got, Rivas. Thank you all for watching, and we're the greatest. Stay tuned.
All right, thanks, Harry. Have a good one, everyone.